And good morning. I didn't go to the meditation room this morning. I went to the atrium instead so that I could get a little bit more view of the new moon. I mean, the full moon, rather. Um, it was huge last evening as it rose in the east. And when I went into the meditation after I left just prior to 11:30 from hearing my son play, so that I could be in the car and be alone on the drive back and join with people who were gathering all over the world at that precise time to visualize the world that we want. And I actually spent quite a bit of time in prayer and affirmations of what I want to see as far as the changes in our world that will ultimately bring peace on earth and prosperity for everybody. In any case, I didn't get home until nearing midnight, and by the time I got to bed, it was getting on towards 1 o'clock. After I caught up as best I could on my emails and stuff, and I was still awake, pushing 1:30, and I woke up this morning around 3:15. And what I'm going to do today, here's the title: 2012 Reflections on Doing Daily Videos. I've been doing videos every day since January of last year. This is number 541. When I began on 1/11/11, my intent was to continue until October 28th. When events did not happen as expected, I extended that commitment to 11/11/11. Then I went into simply every day with no specified end in sight. Perhaps 12/21/12. These will end. I'm not sure. Today I share a bit about what it's like to get up early every day to meditate, then to create a video that goes out to the world. As I said in that little blurb, things have not been happening as quickly as I would like. And I chuckle sometimes when I have a video where I express what people perceive as negative things in my life, and I get people saying, "You see, you're not enlightened, you're no master." And I really chuckle because I hope I've never claimed to be a master. I mean, I know I heard the voice many, many, many years ago when I was still a fundamentalist Christian, that I was a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. And I've pondered on that voice all of my life since then. I don't have a date for it. I don't even think I lived in Florida at the time, and I've been in Florida since 1983 in March. But anyway, my belief is that if anyone goes around saying that they're a master, it's the surest proof that they're not. Are there masters on earth? I don't know that we would necessarily recognize one if we met somebody. To me, mastery is not about going around always being in a good mood and always having miraculous things happen all the time in your life. A master is somebody that accepts life as it is and tells the truth about it. Somebody that doesn't wear a mask and pretend to be something that they're not. To me, that's a type of mastery, or at least it's a mastery that I can relate to. I can't relate to somebody that's always on top of the mountain, always has good feelings and never bad ones, always has wonderful things happening in their life. I got an email. I've been in a little bit of a dialogue back and forth with someone in relation to my videos. The initial one that I remember recently is an apology for being critical of me. Uh, and it was a phase that this person was going through. I don't know if it's a man or a woman because it's not on Facebook, it's on YouTube, the dialogue. But the most recent one this morning that I read is yes, and I don't remember exactly what I said in my most recent one. I didn't go back and find it. I tried, but I didn't see what I had said to him in my last correspondence going in his direction or her direction. And it was written in today's message, yes, but you have enemies trying to steal your house and whatnot. DVDs not playing in your seminars, etc. When bad things keep happening to you, it's a bad sign. That is how the Lord chastises me. Best of luck to you on your journey. I learned a long time ago that I need God, or that we need God. He doesn't need us. We are as ants. I don't think we are as ants, and I do think that God absolutely needs us, and that God doesn't do anything in creation other than through created beings. I don't believe that God is able even to do anything because God is not separate from creation. So this person has a totally different perception of what God is than I do. But I don't claim to be enlightened. I claim to be a human being on a spiritual journey. And I don't always know what that journey is going to look like. And I certainly don't expect God to keep everything that I might or someone else might label as bad or negative out of my path. I have learned some of my greatest lessons in life, and I've been able to exhibit some of the greatest passion and love for others when bad things happen. And I would rather be able to relate to people with life as it is, sometimes up and sometimes down, than to put on a happy face and to always appear to everyone to be above the fray. And believe me, there's a fray. It's not always easy getting up every day. Some days I don't want to put my feet over the edge of the bed and get out and walk down the hall to the meditation room, or in today's case, the atrium. There have been days that I've actually stayed right in bed and did my meditation in bed and not gone into the meditation room or the atrium, but just laid in bed till it was time to get up and I had to prepare to do the video, and that usually takes at least a 15 or 20-minute period of time prior to starting. Writing the blurb and the title and getting the sound check and all the things that I have to do in preparation. And I often read emails, as I did this morning, so that I know what is fresh, because sometimes ideas come to me in the email. Sometimes I know the day before what I'm going to talk about the next day. I said to my friend Steve last night, who went to hear my son play with that new band, and I said to him, I think I'm going to talk about reflections on doing daily videos, because that idea had come to me. But sometimes I don't even know when I come out of the meditation room what I'm going to talk about, because I'm not always feeling on top of the mountain. And in fact, I said to Steve last night, this whole past week, my energy has been lower than it was the week before. It was really high when I got the news that the auction on my house is basically nullified until the hearing takes place, which takes place in 2 weeks from this past Friday, the 18th of May. Anyway, I promised, and it's not a hard promise for me to keep, because I've long tried, it's long been my enlightenment, if you will, to be real, to tell the truth, to be authentic about my feelings and what's going on in my life. Now, there are some things that have gone on that involve other people that I've not been at liberty to say, because it's not completely my story. There are some things that I have that I'm waiting and anxious to be able to share, but I have to wait till the time is right. But in general, each day I'm speaking from my heart. I'm sharing where I am, what I'm feeling, as best I can. And it's interesting to me that some of the best spiritual videos that I think I've done are not necessarily the ones that get the most views. The ones that get the most views are the ones that people can connect with something that's happening in the world right now, primarily in politics. People are, or when the title reflects, like I'm going to reveal some deep secret, and people want to see what that secret is, and then they tune in, and probably a lot of them, when they realize I'm not telling any great big mysterious secret, they may not even finish watching the video, and that's okay. I mean, I used to be more attached to numbers and things like that than I am anymore. Now I don't even hardly pay attention to what the numbers are. And I very rarely ever go back and listen to a video beyond the day that I first create the video. And I used to listen before I put it up online. For a good while now, I just simply put it up online as soon as I'm finished. I don't bother listening beforehand. The first time I listen is after it's already up on YouTube. And then after I listen to it, then I generally post it on Facebook, although there have been times that I've been caught up, because when I'm listening to my video, I'm usually not watching it. I'm usually simply listening to the message, and I'm looking at emails and things like that while the video is playing, so that I get to hear it. And oftentimes, it's only one time now. Used to be always twice, but oftentimes now it's just one time I hear the video. And people don't recognize that that's the case. I mean, I'm not stuck on listening to myself. I try to pay attention to what people are saying to me. The ones that are extremely negative, I used to take that to heart. Now okay, next. I don't want to listen to that. I don't want to hear that, because it's, I don't like criticism any more than everybody else, although sometimes the criticism is something that I really do need to pay attention to. And when that happens, I tend to talk about it, or at least mention it in whatever video I'm doing at the time. But doing daily videos is a challenge, and I don't have any idea when I'm going to stop doing this. I really don't know. There are many things that I'd like to see happen in the world. There are announcements that I'd like to hear made in mainstream and made over the mainstream media. I'd like to hear the announcement of first contact, for example, because I do believe in extraterrestrials. I do believe in angels. I do believe that we are not alone, and that the angelic realm or the extraterrestrial realm has been involved in the history of humanity from its beginning. As I said before, I don't believe that God actually does anything. He, in the beginning, spoke souls, if you will, into existence. And I do believe that there are souls, multiple souls, but really one soul, which is the soul of God, dividing, so that God could have many experiences simultaneously. But all of God's creation is through the created aspects, if you will, of God, or created beings, fragments of the divine. And that's how God creates. And in the beginning of fragmentation, there were parts of God that were assigned, as it were, to play the dark role. Call that Lucifer or Satan or whatever, so that we could learn what it is to be other than what we are, because we couldn't do that unless someone was willing to play that dark role. And so for me, enlightenment is embracing the shadow. It's not putting on a mask of light. It's not wearing a perpetual smile. It's embracing the dark things, because I tell you again, I've no doubt said it before, to me, the greatest power lies in the parts of ourselves we've denied. And when we embrace those parts, those shadow elements, those things that we love to judge about ourselves and others, although we tend not to see them often in ourselves. We tend to see it only out there, and that's an illusion because anything we see out there is in here. But until we're willing to embrace the paradox and the shadow elements of our own being, we're handicapped. And some people see handicapped people, and I don't mean that in a physical handicap way, I'm talking about spiritual now. Some people see people like that are having their house threatened and bad things are happening in their life. They see them as being punished by God. No, they're being blessed by God to be expanded in their awareness. I don't see that at all as being a punishment. God isn't in the punishment business to me. He's in the observation business. He's in the business of loving just as I am. Unconditional love. That's the God that I serve, that allows everything to play out. And yes, I've been disappointed that things haven't happened as quickly as I'd like. There are announcements regarding the Republic that I'm still waiting for. And if that happens, if I have to start playing the role of Secretary of State, in addition to some of the other things that I'm going to do, I'm going to have to hire some people to do some of those things because I will no longer have the time. But I don't, even the daily videos, I'd like to still continue even as active Secretary of State of Florida. Because I do think the Republic eventually is going to come online and be recognized by the world. Not everybody's going to like it, but I believe that's going to happen. But I continue to do the daily videos, whether I feel up on top of the mountain, where I feel absolutely connected to spirit, and where things are flowing in my life in a beautiful way, and I'm feeling the excitement, or when I'm not, like right now, it's not that things are going badly, I think things are going well in my life, but I'm not feeling highly energetic, I'm not feeling great excitement, it's just sort of a stillness or almost. And I have trouble sometimes with that because I like those adrenaline producing feelings. I like it when I feel absolutely connected to spirit and I feel like life is just handing me bouquets at every turn. But that is not the reality. And I promised myself and I promised you that I would tell it like it is. And that's why I've shared this way today. I thought this was going to be a very short video. I see that it's no shorter than the ones that I've been doing recently. It's now over 18 minutes long. But I do thank those of you that listen regularly. And sometimes when I think a video wasn't all that great, I mean, I get people write and say, that was just what I needed, Ron. So I don't know. You're going to relate where you're going to relate, and you're going to not relate where you don't. And that's all okay. I learned to take it in stride. And I'm not a master, and I'm not perfect, and I'm not enlightened. I'm just me. I'm just a man doing the best I can to tell the truth and to put love first in my life. Because truth and love to me are the same thing. Thank you for listening. Namaste.